Welcome back, everyone, to another episode recap of Black Lightning. Tonight's episode, Revelations. So, first thing I want to address, we got a lot of training this episode, and that's something I can definitely appreciate. It wasn't just throw Anissa into the field in a costume and see how she fares. They went out, plain clothes, doing things covert, and he still had a lot to teach her. So, let me know how you felt about that opening scene where first we had the sparring. Shout out Kung Fu Fighting.
Which I'm not gonna lie, the music threw me off, but I knew what they were going for. Like, if you're gonna pull from black culture, pull from all of it, even the campier side of it.
Yeah.
In regards to music, that is.
So we had the training with the holograms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So tell me what you think about that.
I like the fact that we're seeing that Jefferson is more or less teaching her judgment. She's trying to teach her about her judgment. She can't just, attack anybody that doesn't look like her or sing her same tune. And more or less is trying to tell her, the difference between a threat and just someone that has their own opinion.
Right. So what we saw in the opening, she attacked, civilians who could be a threat, but then you also had a hologram of a person wearing a white supremacist flag, Confederate flag. Yeah, and she attacked him as well, and she got bad marks for that because just because he's wearing something that you don't like, he had no threat. He was no threat.
I did kind of agree with that one. I thought he should. I thought he should have called it too.
If we being real, Anissa, you did the right thing right there.
If you bold enough to wear it, be bold enough to take the ass on the floor.
Exactly.
So either way, I'm fine with it. He's teaching her patience and restraint, and white supremacist got his brain shook up. So I'm fine either way. So later on in the episode, we get more training. So they're out at the morgue. She's about to break the wall down, and she's holding nothing back until he, lets her know, focus and use your power. So what you think about that?
Well, with this one, I didn't kind of understand what he was saying because, she's just got her powers. He had years to train how to, modify his powers, how to hold back, how to draw, whatever he needed for certain situations. She's still getting accustomed to it. He doesn't even know how her powers work, so how are you going to tell her how to use her powers? I get what he's saying, practice restraint, and when she hit the building, she damn near knocked the whole damn thing down. It seems like he was overbearing and overparenting because the whole time, in that whole scene, when he was like, you need to do this, you need to do that, she was like, okay, first of all, figure it out that one, you didn't kill this lady because of X, Y, and Z. The burn patterns, the fact that it doesn't have any trace of your electrical signature, and all these other factors. So while you're lecturing me, I'm actually solving the problem.
Okay. I'm gonna disagree with you on a little bit of that. I feel like, considering the situation they're in, they kind of don't have time to, do this by baby steps and whatnot. And I felt like him asking her the questions that he did was more or less basically teaching her that she has to be. In other words, it's like teaching a baby how to walk. They have to be comfortable with their body and how it works. They have to know how their body works. And their powers are now an extension of their body.
Well, in that instance, one thing he has, and I get this is his daughter, and there's no way that he could separate that this is his daughter. But at the same time, he has to appreciate what she is. She's a smart, capable woman. And the fact that she is that smart in the field and that reliable, he should give her credit for that.
Well, at the same time, we got to remember, this is Black Lightning's first step as a mentor, as a vigilante mentor. So just like she's new to the superhero game, he's new to being a mentor. Batman, I don't feel like he went out with Robin, just like, all right, go ahead, you got it. You good.
Granted, but he grew up with Gambi, and Gambi should have been his model.
It should have, yeah, but this is blood.
Okay.
A little bit later episode, we get the last scene where they discover the body, the grave in the ground. Apparently the guy that killed Lady Eve, he didn't get a promotion.
Yeah, no.
He got
promoted
to the upper room.
To the upper room.
Yeah, so his body is out there with the electric gun, and apparently, Black Lightning calls Henderson to come out and investigate, and this is the evidence that's going to exonerate Black Lightning from killing Lady Eve. Apparently, the police got wind of it, sent somebody out there on a dummy mission, and he got himself blown up. But Thunder, she came out and protected Jefferson.
So, and this reiterates back to what I said before. Give her the credit that she deserves. And then eventually he goes home and he's like, I was wrong. I tried to hold her hand, but she's ready to walk.
I like that he was super excited about that too, because it was, you know, I don't know everything. That was the realization that he made.
And I love that realization. But one thing I want to point out.
Actually, it was a revelation.
Well, and I want to get to that later.
Oh, credit.
One thing that I found disrespectful is that the way they killed that dude in the woods. He was face down, assed up, in a marked grave. I was like, yep, you could have did better. You could have did better.
Hey, goons do not need respect.
Exactly.
So, beginning of the episode, we also get reintroduced to the man who came back from the grave last episode, Lala. And I just gotta say, Lala is not all there. He is seeing LaWanda everywhere. He's having conversations out in the open, doesn't care who's around, and he's coming back like he's still, you know, he's top dog. And so we don't get a lot with what happens, how that resolves and everything, but we're basically in Lala's head this episode. So on one end, I can appreciate that. We can see what he's seeing, almost like baby steps in a way, but I'm going to need some more information. I'm going to need some explanation with this.
I felt this didn't work for me at all. And just in general, I felt the entire episode was a transitionary episode anyway between all the stuff that happened last week and what's going to happen next week. And so while the stuff with Anissa and Jefferson worked to get her ready, the stuff with Lala to get us ready for him, I felt like they didn't do that.
Well, first of all, let's put it out there that Lala is crazier than clown shit, and put that out there. Because when he was sitting there talking to himself in the backseat of that car, if I was doing the front, I would have been made him walk. I'm like, Martyr is right there. But it's like I said, it's another layer that they added to Lala, which is what I appreciate. It's like, okay, now, and even the conversations that he was having with LaWanda, and where he was like, where she was like, and her whole personality changed in this too.
This is not LaWanda.
Sorry,
this is
LaWanda.
Yeah, it's LaWanda. This is not the LaWanda from life.
But the fact that she has now taken on a worse personality than him, she's telling him to go out and murder and kill at will, and he's the voice of reason in this.
I will say this. I thought the interactions, the scenes with them were entertaining and funny at some points. And I even liked those scenes for the fact that we're not concentrating on Tobias Well today. I thought that was a refresher for me. But at the same time, like, all of that in total went nowhere. And I kind of wanted some answers so that I could be ready for what happens on the next episode.
Yeah, like, I would have liked if Lala, like, maybe thought, you know what, maybe there's someone I need to go talk to, and this could be like a witch doctor or something like that. I don't know. I don't know his connections or whatnot. But like I said, I just personally need a more explanation because I'm totally lost and I don't know what to think about his character right now.
And that shower sex scene came out of nowhere.
So, turns out there's some connection with Greenlight, the stuff that Nissa found from her granddad's locker, the powder stuff, and also Gambi. All these things have some type of connection. And Lynn is putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And man, I'm feeling for Gambi right now.
I love this revelation so much. First of all, with the fact that the powder was tied into to incident 30 years ago. One thing that I did like about it is how it was related to like the whole crack cocaine epidemic that the government had flooded the black communities with back around the same time period, and I love that correlation to that.
Right. So this was basically the government using Freeland as an experiment site with what we now know as Greenlight, but they also inadvertently created metahumans. So they created, possibly Tobias Well, and also we know they created Jefferson as Black Lightning.
But this reverberated with so many things. I mean, it even made me think like the Tuskegee experiments.
Yeah, all of this is connected.
Like all of that.
My only thing about that is if they created Tobias Well, why did they eventually use him to further do what they were doing by killing off these people that were trying to find out?
We got to figure, that's something we don't know just yet because we don't even have Tobias Well's entire past. Like, we know how he was as a child. We know that he had a political career. So at some point, you know, that's why Lady Eve moved into community. That's why Gambi moved into community. They had to keep certain things under check. So I think Tobias Well might have been one of those things that they were keeping in check.
And one thing I do love, there was a scene, it was where Gambi was in church. And there's this guy singing in the background. But one thing that stood out to me in the scene, it looked like Gambi was looking for redemption in some form. And he was trying to, he was looking for salvation in some sense. And that was very powerful for me because he knew that all the lies were coming to the head. He knew his past and everything. And it was in that moment that he showed like some form of weakness.
Yeah, he's been trying to protect Jefferson his entire time. And he knows that he's basically the cause of Jefferson's father's death. And so he has to put all this out into the open, and he knows that it's coming soon. So he has to face what he helped put into place. So, last thing. I love how they don't leave out Ant Farm, you know, her character growth and development. Like, she's that teenager who was just off on her own, and she still has a story in all of this. Even if she doesn't talk to her parents about every single thing, but I'm loving where it's going. Ant Farm got power now.
And one thing that I hated, was that the fact that they kept her in the dark about their powers. I was like, it doesn't make any sense. Even if she didn't develop powers, she should have been brought into the fold because I feel like she was the odd man out, and that's not fair to her. Because in the instance where she got powers now, I mean, I'm glad that she went to her sister immediately. Yeah. There could have been an instance where she was like, I'm going to hide this and keep this to myself. Yeah. But that just shows how open this family really is.
Right. This is a good example, a good model of that. And so also just knowing, just real life, they don't have that many episodes left. So, hey, this is going to be our superhero team, our superhero crime-fighting family. And I'm loving this. So, and this is probably getting her training, hopefully Ant Farm is getting her training as well. We'll see if it goes that fast, because they could pull something around where Anissa doesn't tell the parents. I don't see that happening though, but if it does, it'd be kind of weird. But
I do want to say this. Do you think the reason that they're not telling that they more or less left her out was because of the fact that it's kind of too much? Wouldn't it kind of be too much on Jefferson's plate to have to deal with Anissa and Jennifer?
Yeah.
It would be, but
and considering how different personalities they are,
and at the same time, remember, one thing that I do like about Jefferson's character is that he's not a perfect father. Mm-hmm. From the outside looking in, everyone's like, you're well-to-do, your family is great, you're this, you made this many accomplishments, and everyone wants to be like you. But he's admitted and he's shown a number of times that he's not a perfect dad. Mm-hmm. And so this is just one of those flaws where of course he hides things from his family, his kids, mm-hmm. and this show lets us address those things head on and not wait for it till next season.
Yeah.
Anything else there?
Yeah, just the whole entire theme of the show, which is Revelations. It speaks to all these truths being coming out and all these things, all these doors being opened. But even from a biblical aspect, I think that there were certain elements that you can see throughout there too, especially in the context of Revelation. From Revelation, the dead coming back, those saints actually being saw that they're sinners, and different aspects of the book that way. Mm-hmm. So I think they actually touched on it on a couple of things here and there from a biblical aspect. So I was appreciative of that too.
So that's going to conclude our episode recap for Black Lightning. Overall, I gotta say, I didn't like the episode that much, but I do like what was presented as far as Revelations go. Like Christian said, this was a transition episode from last week, very high impact, and so we had to kind of see the fallout from all of those things. Like I said, I liked what I saw, kind of minus the La stuff, because I'm just kind of left in the dark. But I'm curious to see where that goes next.
I disagree completely. I think that this episode did what it needed to do. It was high on exposition. It may not have been high on action as we're used to, but it brought certain things to the light. It explained a lot of things that were left open-ended, and it closed a lot of doors. I loved it.
Okay. I was satisfied with what we got. Sometimes you gotta slow it down. Just plain and simple. Like, it can't be all the time. But I do agree with the La stuff. They need to give us something more with that.
So thank you guys for joining us for this episode recap. Please like and subscribe. Hit the bell up top for notifications for every time we put out new videos. Hopefully you'll get those notifications when they come up on YouTube. Again, this guy does the recap shows for The Flash called I Got the Runs. On Thursdays, we do That Arrow show, reviewing Arrow. So, like I said, like and subscribe. Let us know what your favorite moments are of the episode, what questions you have, what were some revelations that came out that you saw that maybe we missed. And yeah, join us next week, next time for Black Lightning.